What's up? It's Dr. Will James here. We are live. We are live. Um, Let me see what I can put here. I hope as people come in, they can see this link in the chat. That's if people want to come in on Zoom. This is my first time trying this. I was actually going to start going live next week, but just so many things has taken place that I figured I'd go live this week. So as people come in, um, we'll see how many people we get today. Hopefully, we'll get more people over time, trying to grow the channel. So as you come in, don't forget to hit that like button. Um, don't forget to subscribe, share these videos, the content that we go over. Um, so yeah, hopefully we get to a point where we got people calling in. We'll be going live. I'll be using the StreamYard link. I'll be using Zoom, and people will call in, come in on camera, and we'll discuss different things. But firstly, I wanted to talk the Love is Blind um, finale. If people have, noticed or saw that, um, I wanted to just look at that. So let me share. Let me share my screen. Where is it? So, Love is Blind. Now, we all should be able to see it on the screen. This couple right here, the black couple, um, this dude, his name is Edmund, and her name was Calibria. I knew that they weren't going to work. Um, Let me see if I can pull up the clip when he said that he wouldn't defend her. I want to pull up that clip because that's when I knew it was over. Like I just knew. She asked him, a series of questions. Um, like if he would defend her, if they were out at a bar, and he said, no. So, um, I knew that they weren't going to work. I called it, and then on the finale, that's what happened. They didn't work. She said no at the altar. But let's look at this. Let's look at this clip. Let's look at this clip.
I feel like I'm very nurturing. I'm a protector. I like to also feel protected.
Oh, this is so low.
Too, but I'm like really respectful of your like independence.
I don't want to always be Miss Independent. I'm tired of being strong all the time. I'm so tired of it.
I got that.
All right, let's say we at the club. We partying. This big buff guy walk up. He see me holding your hand, and he like, I want you. And I'm like,
Let me start it over.
Respectful of your like independence.
I don't want to always be Miss Independent. I'm tired of being strong all the time. I'm so tired of it.
I got that.
All right, let's say we at the club. We partying. This big buff guy walk up. He see me holding your hand, and he like, I want you. And I'm like, don't you see I got a man? In that moment, I could be feeling the need to be protected. In that situation, how would you react?
I'm not gonna feed into it.
But like he's like in my face, I won't move.
All right, we can just walk away, baby. Come on.
I'm trying to walk. He grabbed my arm.
Oh, baby, come on. Just follow me. Let's walk.
He grabbed my arm.
I know. Then we gotta get like security because like he tripping. I can't like you need witnesses in the world. I ain't gonna cause no problem. I ain't gonna talk to that.
He grabbed me.
No.
This man don't know me. He grabbed me. Your wife. You got no reaction.
I'm not gonna cause no confrontation.
So you know that when we leave, I'm gonna be angry with you.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, baby, like,
You're supposed to be my protector, and you don't even try to say nothing to him. You don't try to move his hand. You're like security.
I'll be the pussy or whatever. I just don't want no problems.
I wouldn't call you no pussy. But
I'll just be really.
All right, so you know that was a clip I did a reaction to. This brother, what's his name? Edmund. Let me get this dude up, his picture up here, cause I want to talk to this brother, Edmund, cause like I just knew it wasn't going to it wasn't going to work. Like I just knew it wasn't going to work with this dude. Um, not just off that, but that was a key part of it. But like this is not how you carry yourself. So like if you watched if you watched Love is Blind, right? This dude just this wasn't it. This wasn't it. This is not how you carry yourself. This is not how you conduct yourself as a man. He's rubbing her feet, all this stuff. So, if you didn't see it, she told him no at the altar. Um, and you could see it if you watch the show. It was like foreshadowing. She was never going to say yes to him. He said he wouldn't defend her. She always had to like scold him and like tell him like how to behave and how to act. Women want a leader. Even the most fem modern feminist woman, they still want a leader. They could talk all that junk about how, oh, toxic masculinity and all of that, but at the end of the day, they want a leader. They want a man who's going to lead. This guy wasn't a leader, right? He, and I'm not trying to take shots on him, but she was more intelligent than him. She was more masculine than him. She couldn't see him being a protector. It was more like she had to protect him and protect his feelings and emotions and had to guide him and tell him how to act. He was immature. He's walking around with that pick in the back of his head. Like, it's okay to walk around with a pick in the back of your head. You chilling on the day off. On their wedding day, he's standing there with a pick in the back of his head with a suit on, three-piece suit on. Like, come, what are you doing, brother? What are you doing? She was never gonna say yes to a guy like this. He was always crying, um, whining, super emotional, and the way he would talk like something was wrong with him. So the brother Edmund from Love Is Blind season 9, you need to holler at me. I'll give you coaching. We could go over some classes. Women want a masculine man. They want a man who's going to be a leader, who's going to be a protector. The second that you told her you wouldn't protect her, and you wouldn't stand up and do what's right, in that setting, if a man grabbed her arm, you said you'll get security. You lost her right there, and you got to know that. All right. This brother sitting around, she was on the show talking about how she used to have one night stands and how she was making him wait, 4 or 5 weeks and all of this stuff. As a man, you got to put your foot down and stand on business and stand for something. If women know that they could get away with X, Y, and Z, then they're going to get away with it. You got to put your foot down and be confident in who you are and what you represent as a man. And he just wasn't doing that. I knew she wasn't going to say, um, yes to him. And then the other couple, um, it was one chick on there. I forget what's the name of the chick. She was wealthy. She was like a rich white girl. Um, Let me see if I could find which one that was. because I knew that was over. I knew that one was over too. Where's the rich white girl? Where is she? Dang, they got her at the bottom. So many. All right, Megan. Megan W, 35 years old. Um, Let me share my screen. This one. If you watch the show, um, she was like a multi-millionaire, right? Someone said you're talking about Sparkle Meg. Yeah, Sparkle Meg. He should have broke it off after she called him a who? She called. You should, who called who a bitch? Who wasn't you? Who wasn't? Are you talking about Edmund and Calibra or Megan and the other dude? Oh yeah, I skipped past them in the snow, but I saw part of it when they was on the machine or whatever. I knew that was over as soon when they were at the lunch table. Nah, right now I'm talking about Megan and them, but I knew that Edmund and Calibra was over when they. First of all, I knew they were over as soon as they met each other. That like I knew they weren't, a good match. But as time went on, you could see that Edmund and Calibra wasn't a good match. She was leading him. She was leading him. But when they were at the lunch table and he was saying how, oh, she brought up a scenario like, if a guy grabs my arm, what do you do? And he said, I'm gonna call security. Like that's just come on, man. What woman want a dude who, if someone grabs her, he's going to get security instead of that's just common sense. You're supposed to defend your woman. I don't care if the dude is 7'5", 300 pounds. You touch my woman's arm, I'm going to try to kill you. Don't touch my woman. And that was the answer. That's the correct answer. Like, there's a right and a wrong answer to that. Like, you have to defend your woman. That's like touching my child. I'm not calling security if you touch my child. There's a clear answer. You have to defend your woman just like you have to defend your kids. Like, what kind of like scenario is that where you could just let someone put their hands on your woman? She says, "Hey, babe, I'm uncomfortable." He has his own, and you see that, and you don't do nothing. You talk about you're going to get security. So that was just wrong right there. Yeah, that was just crazy. Um, that was ridiculous. So I knew they was over then. Then when they was having the sex talk and the sex conversation, and I knew she didn't give it up to him, and she was just so easy to admit to him, like, "Oh, the men I used to have one night stands with and just kick them out. I didn't care about them." I don't. Women don't talk like that to men that they feeling. If you really want to marry a man, a woman is going to try to hide her promiscuity the best she can hide it. You know, she ain't going to just be talking about it like how she was talking about it to him. And she was like, "Yo, take it or leave it. You still gonna wait the next 4 weeks, if that." And he was sitting up there rubbing her feet. I knew it was over. Uh, I don't think there was any matches this season. Like, I don't think there were any matches this season. Megan played games. Yo, who is? You should click the link and come on camera. Who is this? Who is that? You could click the link and come on camera if you want. There's a link at the top. I should pin it. Let me see if I could pin it. How do I make it stay? Oh, in the gym listening. All right, cool. But nah, yeah, she definitely played games. I mean, uh, Calibra played games. She knew she wasn't feeling him, and she act like, oh, she said it was last minute. This was a hard decision. That wasn't a hard decision. That was the easiest decision, and everyone who watched the episode saw it coming. That man wasn't a man. Like, I'm sorry to say it that way, but I keep it real here. We got to keep it real because we need men to be men. We need women to be women. He wasn't doing the right thing with that. That was just absurd. Megan, I knew she wasn't with that, gonna be with that. What was the name of the guy she was with? What was this dude's name? Who was Megan's partner? This girl. Let me see if we could find the name of the dude she was. Megan, because I want to have the names of these people. Megan, and we're gonna talk about that dude. Damn, they really got it spaced out. I passed him already? What was the name of the dude she was with? Megan, and nope, wasn't him. Nope. Jordan. So she was with this dude. She was with this dude. So I knew that wasn't gonna work. Megan was like a millionaire. She was wealthy. She was well off. This dude was, regular income, blue collar, probably making like 80,000. He had a kid, a son. Um, she wasn't looking for that. Women look for men who make more money. That's part of the provision, the security. They look for that. She was never going to be attracted, turned on enough by someone who, worked as hard as he did and made the small amount of money that he made in comparison to her. Women look for men who make the same amount of money or more. It's hard for women to respect a man who makes less than them. Very hard. They should, but it's very difficult. And she was one of them. She made too much money. They were looking for the houses. When they were looking for the houses, and the house was like 1.2 million, and she was talking about how she could buy it. And I was like, yo, she's never gonna respect him the same. Yeah, he was a good dude, regular guy, father. He needs to get him like someone on his level. He needs to get him like a woman that makes like 50 or 60,000. She got a kid of her own and ready to settle down. I don't think he was mature enough. Not like because he also was like sort of like he talking about how he likes to party when he can, and it was just some things that were thrown off. Um, yeah, he needs a humble girl. He talking about how she like to travel and she wants the person to be able to get up and travel with him, well, with her and stuff like that. But she made way more money than him. I knew that wasn't gonna work. I knew it. And he had a kid and she doesn't. So I just knew it. But then, you know what a woman like her needs to do? She needs to be humble. Megan needs to humble herself down. And if she's gonna go get a multi-million-dollar guy who makes the same amount of money as her, she needs to be okay with him exploring his options. She needs to be okay with not being the only one. Cause she said, and they had a talk, her and Jordan had a talk about how it never worked out with the guys who made millions of dollars. Because those guys who make millions of dollars, why are they going to just choose you, Megan? Why are they just gonna choose you, Megan? Like, make it make sense. They're not choosing you. And Jordan, like, he's not even the type of guy really that I knew as soon as she saw him that he wasn't her type. She tried to play it off. But multi-million dollar woman, he got full sleeves, tattoos on his knuckles. He's not her type. That can be covered up with a suit, but he had tattoos all on his legs. She wants a guy who looks like, you know, the guy you can take home to mom, who makes a lot of money, wealthy, he's done well for himself, all of that stuff. Not what she was not him. And she tried to play it off like they could relate. Nah, I knew they wasn't gonna work. I knew they weren't gonna work. Who else wasn't gonna work? Let's talk about what's another couple? Because I don't think there weren't any matches. Ooh, the dude that drinks a lot. I think she was first. Where's she at? Her, Allie and Anton. Yeah, I knew they weren't gonna work as soon as she discovered his drinking problem. Where is he at, Anton? She was not feeling that. And see, you can't hide it. This ties into what I want to talk about too with red flags. You can't hide the red flags. You can't hide it, especially when they was doing the part where they were like living together, and she was like, "Yo, this is how much do you drink when you come home?" And he had like he did like a whole six pack by himself in a matter of days. She was like, "What? Where is he at? Where's the Anton dude? I want to." That's Allie. She was like a nurse, and she was fit, and she was into her health. Um, yeah, she is fine enough for a rich man. He did accept that she didn't cook or clean, but that could be fixed. I don't think she was. I think she said that also at that point because she was turned off by him. So when he was like, "Oh, do you always leave your apartment looking like this and you don't cook or whatever?" And she was like, "Yeah, I do. That is me." That's just because she didn't care. When a woman really likes a guy, she would have been like, no, I'm cleaner than this and I don't mind cooking. When they really feeling you, it ain't like that. She was so turned off that she was just like, uh, nah, yeah, this is me. It's gonna look like this. Cause you could tell she was really concerned. And that was the major thing why she said no. A 10K ring instead of a 5K ring. That's crazy. Cause there's research that shows the more money you spend on your wedding ring, the more likely you are to get a divorce. Like significantly more likely to get a divorce the more money you spend on your wedding ring and on your wedding. So people, they be in it for the wrong reasons. There he is. This dude. I knew that wasn't gonna work. And they're both 29. They both got the tattoo on the arm. It looked like a sort of like a match at first until they got, around each other long enough. And the key thing with him was he wanted to go out too much and he was drinking. The key thing for him was his drinking. She saw that drinking, how much he was drinking, and she was not going for it. That was not it. So if I had to say who was at fault here, he was at fault. Who wants to be with someone who's showing signs of like, drug abuse, you know, alcoholism or anything like that? Who wants to be with someone who's doing stuff like that? So um I would say that, you know, he was the problem with this relationship. The other one before, it was so now we're 2 for 2 right now with the men. He was the problem. Well, it's with the last one, I would say, overall, Edmund gave her too many like red flags. So was him, but Calibra, who would want Calibra? Like no man of substance wants the promiscuous woman. She had all of those tattoos all over her. Too many. Her whole back was tatted. So she's not going to get the man she wants. She's not going to get the masculine man who's successful doing things in life. And that's the crazy thing. Women have, more it's harder to please women than men. Their criteria is more is like up here. You gotta be fit, you gotta be tall, you gotta be wealthy, you gotta be healthy, uh, you gotta be good in bed, you gotta be gangster, but not too gangster, because you gotta be soft and be able to, you know, coddle them when they need to be coddled and stuff. Men, we're simple. You just gotta be feminine, fit, and friendly. We're simple. We're simple, but they're not as simple. So yeah, I would place him at fault. With Edmund, I would say slightly more on Edmund than Libra, but it was both of them. Uh, Another one who was at fault. Where's that guy at? Because he pissed me off early. Where's that guy at? Nope. I don't even know who those people are. Look how he looks. And why he don't got that pic showing up? She don't know. He looks too much of a square. This dude, Joe, did y'all see this dude? It was his fault. He was the problem, man. He was the problem. He was drunk at one point in the show, and that's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag as soon as someone gets drunk around you. You get drunk around me, it's over. I don't want to talk to you. Like that's like I don't want to talk to a woman who gets drunk. That's a sin, right? And then people say, "Oh, we're supposed to judge," and I'm judging you. If you're someone I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with, you're damn right I'm a judge. This dude got drunk. He wasn't making sense. She came in to check on him. He was belligerent, and then she was crying. He didn't even give a damn. So he said no to her, and I knew they weren't gonna work. Where's she at? Look, Calibra got the tattoo on the lower leg. I be telling people, I don't care. I pay attention to the tattoos. Madison, she did all she could for that dude. It was his fault. She was trying to, be there for him, support him, work through it. She was willing to accept him and his flaws, and it just wasn't it. It was him. He was at fault. She really had a marriage mindset. Yeah, he wasn't attracted to her. You could tell he wasn't. And that's why people got to pay attention to the red flags. She even asked him one time, I think when they were in the pool. So if like a person makes you feel that way, you got to believe it. You know what I'm saying? People show you who they are, you got to believe it. He wasn't providing her with enough for her to feel secure. So it's like 3-1 so far, or you could say 3-0. Not really, because the one with the rich girl, it was sort of her fault, but not really. But yes, really, because she could have said that income mattered to her instead of saying love is blind. Love isn't blind. Because if any one of them walked from behind that damn glass and they look like Chewbacca or whatever, yeah, she was desperate because she was trying too hard. There's a such thing as giving too many chances, and she was giving him too many chances. Like that was not it at all. She was giving him too many chances. Like, no. He was messing up, being an idiot, and she was giving him chance after chance. Where's the Asian dude? Where is he at? We talked about Joe. Where is that Asian dude? Did y'all see him? Where are you? I gotta because that Asian dude is the proof that love isn't blind. I forget the name of the girl that was talking to him. What's the name of the girl that was talking to him? And why can't I find it, Nick? Oh, there he goes, Patrick. There he goes, Patrick. Patrick matched with that white girl, with the white woman, and she was. You could tell as soon as she saw him, she wasn't attracted. And he said everything right. He didn't change up as yo, they lasted like 1 day after she saw him. And if you remember when they were talking from behind the wall, she was talking about how she was getting her landing strip waxed and she was getting prepared for him. Then she saw him and she was like, no, nope. Then they try to flip it. She was like, you deserve someone who's going to be head over heels for you. Well, why don't you be head over heels for him? If love is blind, what did he say that was wrong? She tried to make it like it wasn't about his looks. Yes, it is. She even said she tried to shield it, but she was like, "I just don't see myself growing in the attraction that he deserves." Yeah, because you're not attracted to the way he physically looks. Like, don't play games. Love isn't blind. Love is not blind. You know which woman? Where's that woman that drove that dude away? What's his name? Nick. This dude. He was treating his girl right, but she drove him away with her insecurities. She drove him away with her insecurities. He was talking to her, and she was just out of nowhere be like, "Are we okay?" He'd tell her like, "Yo, I love you. I want to be with you," and she'd be like, like 2 minutes later, she's like, "Are we okay? Do you love me?" He's like, "What did I just say?" Like, where's that girl at? What's her name? I think I saw her up here. I think her name is Annie or something like that. I don't know all of their names. I didn't even know it was this many people. So many of them didn't match. I mean, none of them got married anyway. Where's that girl? There she is. This is her. It was her fault. It was her fault. Her and Nick didn't work. It was her fault. She was too insecure. And as a guy, you got to know that women are like super insecure. Women are the most insecure. You know, they're more insecure than men by far. You know, it's just evident. You could look. They 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 go get all of these plastic surgeries to get their nose done, their boobs done, their butt done, uh, their ribs. They get their ribs taken out, and they come on. They get all types of things done. Yeah, I've seen some of the prettiest women get their lips done, nose done, butt done, breast done. Didn't even need it. It's just women are very insecure, and sometimes it gets very bad, and you got to pay attention to it. I'm telling you, it lies in certain things. You pay attention. I'm not big on the whole love languages things, but it's some truth to it. And if a woman tells you like her love languages are like words of affirmation, trust me, it's some real insecurities in there, and they need to be constantly reassured verbally. Like some people it's very bad. Like multiple times throughout the day, you gotta say it. Like now, just naturally as a man, we're gonna tell our woman like, "Oh, you gorgeous, you look good." You're gonna say it. You're gonna say it in the morning. You're gonna say it when you see a woman in the afternoon. You're gonna say it, you know. But some women, like, they need it like every second, and they need to be constantly. It's like it's overwhelming with some women, and it's because of the insecurities. So you got to pick up on that, and he picked up on it. He picked up on it. He just said no. So that's one of the red flags. You know, just it just wasn't it. Um, were there any other couples? Any other couples? Oh, Anna and that Asian dude, I think his name is Patrick. I think they would have worked out. And he tried to, double back around, but she dubbed him because she was like, I wasn't your first choice. So, I can't be with someone I was second choice. Um, yeah, I think we covered all of them, all of the breakups. Um, I don't even know who that was. She looks nice. China 39, but the age is a red flag. The age is a red flag. Why are you 39 and single? See, and women gotta know that us men think of that. Age is a red flag. If you 39 and you single, men, we think that you've been ran through. And chances are you have. But why are you 39 and single? Why are you 39 and single? Let me stop sharing. So that's just some of the topics. Some of the things that you can gather from watching shows like that. Some people don't like shows like Love Is Blind. I like it. It's a real show. Some of the couples have got married, they've had kids, but you could just pick up on like the red flags from watching those shows. The only one that I thought did well was the one that I showed you. Um, but she did seem a little desperate for love, but she really wants love, and she liked the guy, but she was doing all she could, but he didn't want it. You got to learn to walk away from someone. And love is a two-way street. Both people have to want it. Both people have to want to play their part. The man has to want to do his job as the man. The woman has to want to do her job as the woman. Um, he has to have the masculine energy. She has to have the feminine energy. And I think that show proved it this season. Every time a woman was too much in her masculine energy or she felt she had like for example, the woman that was the multimillionaire or whatever, and she was going to be the provider in the situation. She was in more of a masculine role. It wouldn't work. That's why I believe in gender roles, and things need to be the way they are. Like there needs to be, gender roles. Um, she couldn't let him be the man because of how much more money she had than him. The situation with Edmund and Calibra, she was just more masculine than him in general. Like, and mentally and emotionally, she came across more masculine than him. And like she was leading him. And women love a leader. And they want a man who's stronger mentally, emotionally, physically. They want their man stronger in every way. A lot of women don't say it, but they want their man strong in every way. They want to be able to lean on their man for support mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. Babe, can you pay this bill? Oh, babe, I can't open this jar. Can you open it? Babe, I'm going through this at work. It's like they want their man to be able to help uplift them with these different areas. And Edmund just couldn't do that. But a few topics I wanted to cover tonight before we get out of here. Um, I had talked about them. So, um, first thing I want to talk about is womanizer. Womanizer versus manizer. Yes, manizer is a word, but you never heard of it. So they use womanizer all the time to shame a man. Matter of fact, let me get the definition up here. I'm gonna pull it up here. The manizer definition. So most people don't know that manizer. So let's get that definition up here. Manizer. Can y'all see that? So it says manizer, I'll read it, can refer to a woman who frequently seduces men on a specific line of makeup highlighters from the brand to the brand The Balm or the name of a 2024 Indian film. Most common slang use is a play on the term womanizer, meaning female player who dates many people without seeking serious relationship. So basically, let's just go with that one. A woman who is a player or seduces many men, often for pleasure rather than a relationship. All right. A woman, not womanizer, a manizer, a woman who is a player or seduces many men, often for pleasure rather than a relationship. So many women are manizers or have been at some point. They've seduced men for their pleasure rather than a relationship. If you're a promiscuous woman, you're a manizer. If you're a woman who has ever used a man for um, a date, whether it was to see a movie or free food at your favorite restaurant, you're a manizer. And that's not talked about enough. There are more manizers than womanizers. There's not a lot of men out here who have access to multiple women to be able to just, you know, play games with women or just, sleep with them and not want anything more without it being mutual. Uh, However, for the woman, there are several women who are out here who, have access to men who they don't take seriously, but they'll use them for a free meal. And several men know that, and we know these women are out there. Women will save men in their phone as different names. They will put an emoji next to your name. They will put your name and they'll say, "Oh, Mike Cash," or they'll just have Cash Dude, Food Dude. Then they got a dude in their phone with an eggplant next to his name, and we know what he's used for. So women, they're manizers. They don't want a serious relationship with that dude. because they don't see a serious relationship forming. They don't see it turning into something that could be long term, but they want to use the dude for what they can use that dude for, right? Then when they find a dude who they think has all of the qualities, the characteristics that they want, they'll try to take that dude seriously. And they often require more from that dude than the dude that they just found physically attractive, um, who they really liked, but that dude really didn't like them or wasn't willing to settle down with just them. They'll put that the dude that has all of the traits, they'll put him through more than that the other dude. So that one dude that it only took a day, a week, couple weeks, um, for intercourse, the new dude who they, feel is husband material, they'll put him through a longer waiting stage for intercourse to take place. That happens. These are manizers. And you better believe, a lot of dudes you could play stupid if you want to. But while these women have you waiting, they're not waiting. More often than not, more 9 out of 10 times, it's a good chance that while she's making a new dude wait, she still has her old dude in the phone that's saved with an eggplant emoji. He's hitting it. So, just don't be a fool. And at the same time, woman, don't think that every dude is stupid. While you have him waiting for you, don't think he's just sitting around waiting and he's abstinent. He has a woman that he's, letting scratch that itch more often than not. Not all, there's no absolutes, not every guy. But if the guy, wants more and he's ready for something physical and you pushing it off, you guys been talking for, 1 month, 2 months. Don't think he's just sitting around and he's abstinent because you want to wait, especially if you're not a virgin. He has no reason to wait on you. So just make it make sense. But that also just points into the double standards. Society always pushes the term womanizer, womanizer, womanizer. Well, what's the counter to womanizer? You never hear manizer. It's the same thing with toxic masculinity. You never hear toxic femininity. Now, neither one of them exists. I've said this before. Toxic masculinity doesn't exist. Toxic femininity doesn't exist. Masculinity can't be toxic. Femininity can't be toxic. It's the absence of masculinity that's toxic. The same thing with femininity. It's the absence of femininity that's toxic. People can't make sense of these things. Whenever you ask someone to provide you with an example of toxic masculinity, they'll say something like, "Oh, well, that's when a man says to, like a younger boy or his son or something that, yo, men don't cry." Well, I always ask the question, what is it called if a woman tells her son that, men don't cry? What is that now? So the examples don't even make sense. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. It's just toxic people. Masculinity understands that men do cry. All right. Masculinity understands that men are human beings. They go through different emotions. Not every man is the same. There are certain expectations for men that we should have in society. I believe men should be providers and protectors and warriors. And, we step up and we protect, our family, you know? Um, how does it look if a guy's, you know, if we hear a sound in the middle of the night? The man is supposed to get up and go look. What was that? How would a man look sending his wife downstairs to check or in the living room to check? You know what I'm saying? So I believe there should be certain roles. And I don't think it's toxic to have, certain a certain understanding or expectation of these roles. Again, what is it? It doesn't even make sense because then again, what if a woman believes in these roles? Are you then now calling that toxic masculinity? Or is that toxic femininity? It doesn't make sense. Um, But again, there's an agenda to make men look a certain way in society. So that's why you see terms consistently like toxic masculinity, but you don't hear toxic femininity. You hear womanizer, you don't hear manizer. It's all of these different things that are part of an agenda. All right. The modern feminist movement, um, to make men look a certain way, to promote a certain agenda, to emasculate the next generation and make the next generation of woman over masculine. It's all a part of a plan, and we shouldn't fall for it. And we're going to be talking about it more on this channel. So that's why you really, really got to like, comment, subscribe, tune into Dr. Will James podcast every Tuesday and Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. What else did I want to cover tonight before we get out of here? Talked about that. Oh, the things that are inappropriate for a woman to post on social media while in a relationship. And this also ties into the red flags. So if a woman is posting, you know, while single or in a relationship, I forget the name of the lady. She was on my brother's Ask a Brother podcast with Jeff St. James, where she said that the single you is the relationship you. Because I pay attention to this stuff, and this could prevent you from becoming a wife. There have been several times where I'll talk to a woman and then I see, how she carries herself on social media, and it's a disqualification. If you're showing too much skin, I'm not the biggest fan of the two-piece bathing suits on social media because essentially you're showing the same amount as panties and bra. And why would you need to do that unless you're seeking attention? You know, fellas, the woman that's seeking attention is a red flag. That's a red flag. You got no business posting that. You don't need to post that all over your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or X. Why? Who do you need validation from to tell you that your body is nice? Why can't that just be for your photo album or the next man you talk to or, someone in your personal life? Why does social media need to see your backside, your butt out in a bikini? The things women post for attention, like, oh, I really wish someone would give me a hug or a kiss right now while in a relationship. And then they try to play it off like, oh, that's just a meme. That's nothing. No, you're seeking attention. And that's inappropriate while in a relationship, right? It's really inappropriate even if you're single, because why are you seeking attention out in that way? There's other ways for a woman could do that. You could be more professional about it. Doesn't have to be so obvious. And really, men are gonna seek after a woman who is single if she's showing the traits of a wife anyway. You don't have to invite that type of energy. So there's just certain things. A woman posting, they do the tricks where they post, themselves, show themselves in the tub with that leg showing. They know what they're doing when they set their thirst traps. Let's just put it that way. When they set their thirst traps, why are you doing that? You're seeking attention. And the ones that kill me is when they set the thirst traps and then they act like they don't know they set a thirst trap. Oh, get out my DM. You just set it up for every man to come in your DM. So, that's what kills me. Um, Especially when there's a block button. If you truly don't want the attention, block the person. There's women that will talk all this junk about how they have 100 messages and they'll make jokes like, oh, this dude is in my inbox talking to himself. Why are you letting him stay there talking to himself when you could have blocked him? They want the attention. It's like a mental illness with a lot of women. They like the way they seek attention. What is it, Munchausen? Is that the name of it? think that's the name of it. Yeah, Munchausen. Munchausen syndrome, also known as fictitious disorder imposed on self, a mental health condition characterized by the deliberate fabrication or exaggeration of physical or psychological symptoms to gain attention, sympathy, or medical treatment. So yeah, it could fall under that. A lot of women are undiagnosed, but I think they're going through a little bit of that. Just seeking attention. So, fellas, pay attention to the women who post things, showing too much of their body, whether single or in a relationship. But when the woman posts that while in a relationship, I know that they're going to be single soon. And the woman that posts that while they're single, I tend to know that they're going to be single for a long time. It's true. What you show to a man is what you show to a man. You can't show him, your backside, your whole body, and then say you want a man to respect your brain. You can be online and you can be clothed and you can still be sexy. And then a man will want to actually get to know you more for your mental. If you post things that are more related to, thought process and um, academics, intelligence, things like that, then a man will look at you more for that. We're still gonna look at how pretty you are. We still can see the curves and certain things that you wear, but it could be, presentable. It could be classy. So I think that's it for tonight. I appreciate, the few people who tuned in. It was not day one. We'll only get better. Um, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell. Definitely want to hit that bell so that you get the notifications. You definitely want to, you know, like and subscribe and tune in next week, next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Peace.